Okay, good morning student. Today our next topic is the force part 3. Now in this topics we will discuss about the equilibrium of bodies. Equilibrium of bodies. So the term equilibrium, what does it mean? So first question arises, what is equilibrium? What is equilibrium? What is equilibrium? So your answer is whenever a body is acted upon by several forces and it does not several forces which produces no change in the state of rest or motion of a body. Motion may be linear or rotational. May be linear or rotational of a body, then rotational of a body bracket close of a body, then the body is said to be in equilibrium. Okay, what is equilibrium? So whenever a body is acted upon by several forces which produces no change in the state of rest, if the body was initially at rest, even if several forces acting on that body, but the body will remain in the same state of rest. Or if the body was initially in the state of motion, maybe rotational or maybe linear, even then after several forces, even then the body remain in its state of motion, then we can say that the body is in equilibrium. So from this topic, it is clear that there are two kinds of equilibrium. So in this, should I remove it? Okay. So in this case, types of equilibrium arises from this definition that there are two types of equilibrium. So there are two types of equilibrium. First one is, since the body, whenever after acting several forces remain in the state of rest, that is static equilibrium. First is your static equilibrium. And another is your dynamic equilibrium. So in case of static equilibrium, when a body is acted upon several forces even then the body remain in the state of rest as it was earlier in the state of rest, then the body is said to be in static equilibrium. So, a static equilibrium means whenever a body is acted upon several forces, then even after that the body remain in the state of rest as it was initially in the state of rest. Then the body is said to be in static equilibrium. That means whatever the forces acting, they mutually cancel their effect each other, and the body, if it was initially in the state of rest, it will remain in the state of rest. Okay, let us see. Should I remove it? Let us see some example of static equilibrium. Suppose a body is kept on the tabletop. A body is kept on this tabletop. If the body is acted upon by a force of F Newton from this end, and another force is acted of same magnitude from another point. That means if this force is acted on the left side and this force is on the right side, both these forces are equal and opposite, because the line of action of force of both the of both the forces acting at point A and B are same, and the magnitude of the forces are also same. So that means these forces mutually cancel each other, and net force acting on this body is zero. So the body in the initially, as it was kept on this tabletop in the rest position, this body will remain in the state of rest. Clear? Similarly, another example, if a body is simply kept on this tabletop, what will happen? The weight of the body exerting a force vertically downward through its center of gravity. This is the center of gravity of the body, which is acting vertically downward. That force is acting on that body. This body is exerting a force vertically downward on the tabletop. At the same time, the tabletop also exerting an equal and opposite reaction force. That is the reaction force. And the weight of the book is your mg. And the reaction force which is applied by the tabletop on this object through its center of gravity is your equal to mg. That means these two forces are equal and opposite, and line of action of force are also same. Then the body will remain in the tabletop in the static position. So this is all about the equilibrium of bodies when several forces acting on a body and net forces will be zero. So in this case, the body, when it was initially in the state of rest, will remain state of rest. So this kind of equilibrium is called static equilibrium. Now you will, should I remove it? Okay, got it? Now I will explain you regarding the dynamic equilibrium. Dynamic equilibrium. So what is dynamic equilibrium? So dynamic equilibrium, just now I had explained you regarding the dynamic equilibrium that whenever several forces acting on a body, but the body, if it was initially in the state of motion, even after acting several forces, net forces is zero, then the body will remain in the state of motion. Then such equilibrium is termed as your dynamic equilibrium. So your answer is whenever several forces acted upon a body, whenever several forces acted upon a body, even then the body remain in the original state of motion, then such equilibrium is called dynamic equilibrium. So here in this case, several forces acting on a moving body. The body may be in the state of rotational motion, may be in the state of linear motion. Several forces acting on that body. But even then, the body, that forces does not affect the original state of motion. Does not affect the original state of motion. That means the body will continue to be in the state of motion. So in that case, we can say that net force which is acting on that body must be zero. So that is why the body remain in the state of motion even after several forces acting on it. So that is then in that case we can say the equilibrium is called your dynamic equilibrium. It is clear? Now you will see some example. Should I remove it? You have got it? Okay. Again chalk is finished. Let me put another chalk. Suppose a rain is falling vertically downward. The speed of the rain remains same. Here several forces acting on that body. The weight of rain is vertically downward. At the same time, the upward force exerted by the air is vertically upward, that is the buoyant force, and the friction arises while moving in the atmospheric air. Friction arises, that is the viscosity. Here the fluid friction is called your viscosity. The friction due to the motion through the air is also exerting vertically upward because the motion of the raindrop is vertically downward. These two forces balances each other. So the speed while dropping it remains same throughout its speed of the raindrop remains same throughout its journey. At the same time, if you will take another example, if you will for a rotational motion, another example of your rotational motion. Suppose if you are tying up a stone with the help of a thread and you are rolling it, what will happen? Your stone try to go away from your hand, but the thread applying a tensile force towards your hand. That means your hand exerting the stone towards your hand, that will act as your centripetal force, and on the other hand, the reaction force, that stone will try to move away from you. So both the centripetal force and the centrifugal force, which is away from your hand, that two forces mutually cancel each other. So the speed of the stone remain same in the path, provided this is the main condition. Similarly, another example of your circular motion, that your planets moving around the sun, the gravitational pull of the sun towards its center on the planet is your centripetal force. So all planets are pulling by the sun towards its center, but the planet does not overlapping on the sun itself, because at the same time planet also exerting an equal and opposite force away from the center of the sun. That is why that is the centrifugal force. So both the forces mutually cancel each other. So the speed of planet remain same while revolving around the planet. It is clear? Okay. Now the condition of equilibrium. What are the condition of equilibrium? So there are two conditions of equilibrium. First one is your algebraic sum of the forces acting on a body must be 0. That is net force. Should be 0. Another condition of equilibrium is algebraic sum of the moment of forces about the axis of rotation must be equal to 0. So these are the two conditions necessary for equilibrium of a body, whether it is dynamic or static does not matter. Because if net force is not 0, then the body may causes linear motion if it is in the state of rest. But if while revolving around a fixed point, what will happen? The fixed point may be taken as your axis of rotation, and in that case also algebraic sum of all the moments about that fixed point of rotation must be also 0. That means sum of clockwise moment must be equal to sum of anti-clockwise moment. Now we will discuss about the principle of moment. Now we will discuss about the, should I remove it? Okay. Principle of moment. Now what is the principle of moment? So in equilibrium, your answer is in equilibrium algebraic sum of all the moments about a fixed point. About a fixed point means turning point or axis of rotation in equilibrium, algebraic sum of all the moments about a fixed point or axis of rotation must be equal to 0. That is sum of clockwise moment must be equal to sum of anti-clockwise moment. So this is your principle of moment. Suppose, okay, you have got it. Should I remove it? It is clear, everyone? Now I am removing it. Suppose you have a meter scale. Suppose you have a uniform meter ruler duly pivoted at a point O. It is supported. This is a uniform meter ruler which is supported at a fixed point O. If you will hang a weight W1 GF at a distance of say L1 from the fixed point of rotation, and to balance it another weight you have to hang say W2 GF from the fixed point of rotation, the distance is your L2. Then what will happen? The force, clockwise moment due to the weight W2, clockwise moment due to W2 is your W2 GF into L2 meter centimeter, okay, and anti-clockwise moment due to W1 is your, this will produce as a turning effect in clockwise direction, and this weight will turn in anti-clockwise direction. So anti-clockwise moment about O is your W1 GF into L1 centimeter. Clear? So according to principle of moment, now according to principle of moment, anti-clockwise moment must be equal to clockwise moment. Okay, that is anti-clockwise moment is this one, W1 GF into L1 centimeter, which is equal to W2 GF, because anti-clockwise moment is your W2. This is your anti-clockwise movement. This is your anti-clockwise movement, and this much is your clockwise movement. This is your clockwise movement. So W1 GF into L centimeter equal to W2 GF into L2 centimeter. Okay, this is the relation. With this formula, you have to solve various numerical problem. The more homework that I will give you, okay, in my WhatsApp group, you can get it, the various numerical which will which will applicable by this formula. Okay, bye.